Speaking of announcements,
Yeah.
boy, do I ever have one.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, I got it. I'm ready. You
Whoa.
ready? I'm
Yeah,
ready.
I'm listening.
So, a guy that I know,
Okay.
I don't think you know him, but I went to Oregon a couple years ago. I don't know if that rings any bells.
Yeah. I remember when you did that.
I went to visit, is getting married. And
Oh, Mazel
he,
Tov.
yeah, exactly, right? That's what I said. I was so excited when he said that to me.
Congrats if you're
Yeah,
out there listening.
and it just so happens that I work at the same place as his mom. So I bumped into her and I was like, hey, you know, Mazel Tov.
Like
Like, no.
100%.
I was like, your kid texted me.
Did she not know?
He wants my address. And she was like, oh, is he gonna send you an invitation to the wedding? And I was like, yeah, he is. And she was like, oh, that's so cool. It's in Puerto Rico.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's in December. I will be taking a break of time off
Nice.
away from the young streaming community to go on a venture to see my good friend get married in Puerto Rico.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Hopefully, if all goes well and you know the next months pan out
Right,
in
absolutely.
the way they should, then
Absolutely.
yeah, piece of cake.
Nice. Hell yeah. I've never been to
Yeah.
Puerto Rico. I've always wanted to go there.
No, I've never left the country.
Well, Puerto Rico is still technically the
Yeah.
country.
Well, I've never left this room.
I know what I know what you mean though. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I get it.
Just a small town boy.
Yeah. Nice. That's
Yeah.
good. I was just much better than the conversation I was having with chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just normally I come in and drop some like mad nonsense.
That was me being
but...
seriously. I was just talking about a movie that I said making me want to puke just as much as the food I just ate really fast.
Oh, nice.
Which is a good segue into the podcast, I think.
Yeah, I was talking about the wave in my hair, so.
Nice. Oh, I got my Wizard Throne shirt came in today. Chat. I don't think you guys know who Wizard Throne is.
Hell yeah! Is that the super group?
That's a super power metal group that is
Hell yeah!
their album's being released. It came in today. It went from Scotland to Germany to the Saudi Arabia to New York, and now it's finally to me. It took me a month and a half to get here.
What a journey!
I realized that it wasn't their fault it went where it went. It was my fault because you know us dumb Americans, how when we order stuff from America places, the USA is always the first thing you can click on.
America places.
You know what I mean? Like if you're ordering like from Amazon and stuff, and you have like pick your country, like the United States is usually the top one because we're lazy.
True. True. If I ever have to look for it, I'm like, man, this website does not have their shit together.
Right. So when I ordered this shirt from Europe because it's a metal shirt and power metal is very European, I didn't realize the United Arab Emirates was the first thing on the country's choice because, like I said, dumb American sometimes. So I clicked that.
Oh man.
And then when I got the package today, I saw they had to cross that out and wrote USA in big letters because I'm an idiot. But I also have to like, good job. Like normally, I feel like most packages places would have just thrown it away. So they got it to me. So hell yeah, good catch.
Someone there was like, huh, this place definitely isn't here.
Yeah, this address definitely isn't in the Middle East. Which I thought was really funny because I was like, kind of like, you're like, all right, this shirt's taking forever. Like, I get it, like COVID and stuff, everything's taking forever. Then I realized I'm an idiot. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I've been to a wedding either. Ghost hand. Yeah. Well, what was the last one you went to, Shane?
Me?
Yeah, when was the last one? I can't even think of.
A mutual friend of ours.
Oh yeah,
Was
that a couple years ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like most people. This is kind of off topic for the podcast, but most people I know who have been getting married have been having like super small ceremonies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah,
I mean, I'm all for.
for sure.
I'm all for
I,
that. I've
I
been
I
to
have
enough
no
Catholic
idea
weddings.
what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's start the podcast. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
You just heard stories from our IRL lives, so now we're gonna do a podcast. This is Ruining Movies. If you somehow have stumbled down the hall, opened the door that says Ruining Movies, this is a podcast in which Shayne, that's Shayne over there, and
That's
me,
me.
Zach, your hosts, watch a movie every week, and then with the help of our lovely audience, we ruin that movie by remaking it in a different genre and making it a prequel, sequel, or remake. Tonight we are covering James and the Giant Peach. But before we get into ruining that movie and talking about how we felt about it, we need to talk about the news. We got so much trailers, so many trailers, so much trailers, so trailerized.
Can we just start with Disney?
Yeah. Let's start with Disney. Let's start with the big MCU stuff. Let's start with Eternals.
Okay.
I was wrong.
You were wrong. Why? Because it didn't say anything about Oscar thing.
Exactly.
You're right about the timing, though.
I got the timing right, but they didn't say anything about Chloe Zhao. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, I feel like that was
Yeah,
weird.
they didn't really say anything about any of the actors. Like, they didn't say like Angelina Jolie.
Right.
She was just kind of there.
Right. I mean, the cast is so big. So many like
Yeah.
really big names. Like Salma Hayek is the lead, I think. Oh, I know it's Salma Hayek. I just don't know who the lead is in the Eternals. Kit Harington, Kumail Nanjiani, Angelina Jolie, Gemma Chan. Like, just it's crazy. But anyway, I don't think the cast was the most impressive thing of the trailer. I thought the cinematography was, and that would go all the way back to Chloe Zhao.
Yeah.
What do you think of the trailer?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I thought it looked good. I'm excited. I'm just like a layman dude when it comes to these superhero movies. Like, I don't particularly expect a lot of substance out of Marvel,
absolutely. Yeah.
But when it comes to stuff like this, it's like, obviously, they're going a little deeper into some stuff. So I anticipate it will be interesting. But in terms of the trailer, I just thought that, action.
Right.
Stuff. There's things happening on the screen. I'm excited to see the movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I think, like, the cinematography I thought looked better than most MCU products, so I like that. But this movie from the trailer just seems like it's Ancient Aliens, the movie. Like, Chariots of the God, the movie. Like, I feel like I need to go, like, get my conspiracy theorist books out, because that's pretty much what it looks like in the trailer. It's like aliens came to Earth. They're the gods. Which is hell yeah.
Yeah. And I'm down.
Right, yeah. I don't know too much about the Eternals. Except why the fuck didn't they there was this like part over like the narration that kind of confused me. Like the beginning, they talk about how they guided humanity and helped them progress and stuff. And then like the last part of the trailer is like, but we never don't interfere. I was like, what? You just like you said you guided humanity.
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, we don't interfere. It's like, what are you doing? What?
Right. And who are you fighting if you're not interfering?
Right. I mean, you guys let Thanos snap.
Yeah.
Half of people go away. Well, you guys
and
better have a good explanation.
They said that they were gonna do something like when it mattered most.
Yeah, was that not when Thanos killed?
Yeah, didn't like universe? A bunch of like insane shit happen over the last like 10 years? A fucking giant alien attack. Thanos blew up fucking 50% of everything, crippled all the economies, like just broke everything. And you guys are just like, meh, whatever.
Yeah, really, it was just like, all right, cool. But like, so the little bit I know about the Eternals is like Thanos is like their like half cousin, twice removed or something. So
Titans and Eternals are like fam.
Yeah.
Somehow they bump into each other casually at the family reunions.
Yeah, maybe that's what's going on. Maybe what if they're Thanos sympathizers?
Oh man.
Like, yeah. Ghost Hand says,
That's right.
strangely reminded me a lot of Prometheus in terms of color palette and tone. Yeah, I would agree with that.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, they probably gave the basic concepts. It is. It's
Hmm.
strange. I mean, I I'm very excited for the director. I think Chloe Zhao is gonna make something nice here.
Yeah,
I just
I'm
don't know.
excited.
I
You
just
keep
don't know.
saying this name, but I don't. Hold on. Please stand by.
I haven't seen a lot of her films, and she hasn't made too many. But she made Nomadland, which won Best Picture.
Yeah, yeah, for
But
sure.
I've seen her cinematography and like her directing style many times. She did The Riders, songs my brother taught me, a bunch of short films. Her shots are like very, I want to say like landscape esque, like landscape painting, very fine art.
Okay,
Um,
I'm in.
yeah, she's like her like cinematography and her films are like always, from what I've seen. Like I said, I haven't seen like them as a whole, but I've definitely like seen her like clips from our movies. Like we've talked about them like
I
when I was
don't,
in film school. Um,
I don't think I'm on the right person. Maybe I am, but I don't know.
right, but anyway, um, we'll see. I mean, this is an MCU movie. WandaVision started out being really interesting and ended up with laser beams being thrown at each
Yeah,
other.
and that's still one best fight of the year
And one best
by
fight
the
at the MTV
MTV
Awards.
Movie Awards.
Why is MTV even around still? Is that like
Is that still
not
a
to throw
thing?
shade at them, but like, are they around still?
I guess enough to put out movie awards.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, I definitely spelled her name wrong. Oh yeah, totally different person.
yeah. And we got the poster too. Poster just it's fine.
It's fine.
What else came out from Disney? This week.
There was a new Loki trailer.
Oh, I did not watch that. I did not know that. Oh,
Oh, I actually didn't watch it either. I was hoping you were gonna just.
I've kind of no, yeah, I've kind of stopped watching Loki things. And yeah, I just want to watch the show at this point.
Yeah, I'm
I,
excited.
I
It's
don't
right
really
around the
want to see
corner at
more.
this point, and
Yeah.
I didn't watch the trailer either because I watched the last little mini one, and I don't know. I've been like touch and go with trailers and things
Right,
for.
exactly. Exactly. I hope we get some old civilization stuff, like a snippet of life in old Mesopotamia since the gates of Babylonia are in the trailer. Yeah! Oh, that's what Ghost Hand says in chat for everyone.
Nice.
The Eternals, I agree with that. I would love to see kind of like a tree of life. Um, there was that other film that also like went through the different periods of time. Um, like I would love to see a story where it is like we jump throughout the timeline and maybe not even like a cohesive timeline. Maybe like the story is told by jumping through the entire Eternals entire like history. It's their story. Like maybe we start in
Yeah.
modern day and then we jump back to Babylonia, then we jump back to like the 1700s.
Mm-hmm.
Cloud
Have you
Atlas, yes,
seen
Cloud Atlas is what I was thinking of. Thank you.
the Old Guard?
I don't think so. That sounds familiar though.
It was pretty cool. It had um 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 uh man, Scarlett Johansson, I think.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. It's not
Oh, dang
Scarlet.
it.
It's God, what's her name? Charlize Theron.
Yeah. Charlize Theron.
Charlize, yeah.
Um anyway, that was pretty cool and it kind of played with a similar idea. Um they existed for a very long time.
Okay, that's cool.
So,
Um,
it was
kind of like
interesting.
Assassin's Creed ish.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was
Um,
good.
yeah. So I guess Loki stuff came out. When is that coming out? That's like like
June, early June.
is it the first week of June? Let's actually see this. June 9th. That is 2 weeks.
Nice.
There. Ooh, wait, Loki is being released on Wednesdays.
Interesting.
Have they changed the day
Terrible idea if that is true.
It starts on June 9th and ends July 14th.
Great.
But wait, July 14th is a Monday. Wait, no, never mind. Wait, July
Oh.
14th. I'm looking at the wrong. July 14th. It's a Wednesday. So they're doing Wednesdays now.
Wednesdays? What are they doing?
Have they changed it every single time?
I thought WandaVision and
Oh no, those
Falcon
were
and
both,
Winter Soldier
Fridays.
were both on Fridays.
Yeah, I don't know. There has to be. Maybe it's. What are they competing with on Fridays? I don't know. I don't know why they changed it.
Fortnite.
Fortnite Fridays. They're changing it because of Fortnite Fridays.
Not necessarily Fortnite Fridays, but like, what are they competing with on Fridays? Fortnite. Because no school, no nothing on Saturdays. Stay up late, man. Fuck a movie. Like, I got some Fortnite to play. If you just like got out of school or whatever.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Not specifically Fortnite necessarily.
Right, no, I get what you're
lot.
saying. I get what you're saying. But it's weird,
yeah.
like, with streaming, though. Like, streaming... because, like, back in the day, like, and still to today, if you're watching cable shows and things on TV, like, it matters, like, when they're on. Like, you have certain time slots that are more important than others. But, like, streaming, like, doesn't matter that much. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, because at a certain point, a bunch of people are just gonna fucking wait and then binge them at the end anyway.
Exactly.
Right? Like, there has to be a huge percentage of people that do that.
And honestly, I think Wednesday, this might be me being very, like, petty about this. Like,
I'm a little busy.
Not many people are going to be watching stuff on, like, Wednesdays. So that means, like, you're more likely to be, like, have spoilers shown to you, which is a big problem with anything streaming.
Because, like, in general, like, I am busy on Wednesdays.
Same.
Like, not doing that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I will work it in now, but...
I mean, I'll just watch it at fucking midnight. Talking about Disney, have you watched any of Marvel's MODOK?
No, but I've heard a lot of good things. I heard that Patton
yeah.
Oswalt has been doing a fantastic job. I don't know if it's all out, so...
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's pretty good, too. I saw some people complaining about the art style. It's like it's stop motion. What the hell are you complaining about?
Yeah.
You're fine.
The hell out of here.
I
thought it was cool, and I've only seen the trailers.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like just like Robot Chicken. I have no problem with Robot Chicken. I don't think there's any more Disney news. Chat, if there's anything Disney that you guys want us to talk about, throw it in our chats. I don't think there is, though. But we still have a bunch of movie news. So I think we end everything. I'm just gonna end it all when we talk about Army of the Dead. But I think we end like this section of the news, like before we talk about James and the Giant Peach, we talk about Army of the Dead. So we'll leave that to last. Let's stay in Netflix. Let's stay in streaming services and go to the Netflix. Have you seen anything about Fear Street?
No. Is it fantastic?
It's not out yet. Okay. Fear Street is based off of the best-selling book series by R.L. Stine. So already, thumbs up from me. For those who don't know R.L. Stine, that's Goosebumps.
Yeah. I knew that name sounded familiar.
Did R.L. Stine ever visit your like elementary school?
My elementary school? No, I don't think so. But I had a visit from another person.
I'm trying to think.
Unless we're not thinking of the same.
Is Michigan Chillers different than American Chillers?
Yeah, well, yes, but they're the same author.
Okay.
But it's not who you think it is.
I thought it was American. It's not R.L. Stine. Okay, maybe damn it. I thought R.L. Stine visited
Jonathan Rand. That dude visited
that dude visited a lot. Well, anyway, R.L. Stine, Goosebumps, good stuff. I read him a lot when I was a kid. Netflix is doing this thing, a film trilogy event called Fear Street. Fear Street was like R.L. Stine's like pre-teen books about slashers and killers. So a little bit more mature for when a young Zach, was reading Goosebumps. But how they're doing it, I think, is really interesting. So Netflix is releasing the trilogy in 3 weeks. So each movie is being released 1 week at a time. But like we'll have the trilogy after those 3 weeks, which I think is really cool and really interesting. So July 2nd, we get part 1, 1994. Part 2 comes out July 9th, 1978, and then July 16th goes all the way back to 1666. I think that's neat. I think that's cool.
Yeah, interesting.
I think, and they're calling it a movie event. I think it's exactly that, a film trilogy event. Like I would love to see more stuff like that, especially because it seems like these 3 movies, they're going to be standalone movies, but they're also connected. And like each week we're going further back in time, from 1994 to 1978 to 1666. I don't know. It seems cool. I'm excited, and it's also like horror. Yeah,
I like that. Did you watch perhaps the show Dracula on Netflix?
Is that with what's his face, Benedict Cumberbatch? Or I think it's someone else.
I have not watched it. But the lady is recognizable. I just can't remember. Anyway, they did the same thing, but in reverse.
Oh,
and it
nice.
It worked phenomenally. So I can imagine that the same thing in reverse, which is just going back in time.
Yeah, I was thinking fucking Sherlock Holmes. I don't know why I thought it said Benedict Cumberbatch. I've not seen it, but I've heard good things about it. Well, I've heard good things about the first couple episodes. I don't know about the last.
There's only 3 episodes. They're very long. That's why I thought of it as like a comparison, because it's like they skip a long time between episodes.
Okay.
But it's pretty great.
Yeah,
and it's like it felt like an event watching it. You know what I'm saying?
That's yeah. I like the event aspect of it. I like. It's also like using the streaming services to kind of do its own thing. Like you couldn't do that in theaters. Well, like you could, but you wouldn't get as much attention, or you wouldn't get as much eyes on it. So like using that part of the streaming service to like actually be like, all right, we're doing this multi-story, all these movies, different time periods, bam, bam, bam. It's an event. Come check it out. It's kind of like what old school like primetime television was. Like,
yeah,
you don't really have that nowadays, where it's like, I guess the last time that there was something that big was Game of Thrones, which again Shane and I have not seen. But like Game of Thrones,
but I understand the spectacle.
Yeah, exactly. Game of Thrones was a thing. I remember everyone else in our friend group like watch that night. They'd get together. There was parties and stuff, and they would. Except Shane and I was standing out the window staring in. We were never invited. And like it was an event, and I think this Fear Street thing is gonna be like that. Like people are gonna be like,
yeah.
It's cool. Also, I see now that R.L. Stein has confirmed they're all going to be rated R. So that's
yeah, dude.
I'm in even more.
Oh, wow. Sign me up.
I'm in even more because, like, hell yeah.
Also, hello, Mr. Double Flip. Yes, and feel free to participate in chat. Welcome to the podcast. Enjoy yourself.
Welcome in. Yes, it reminds me. Like, I still haven't seen The Sopranos either.
I still want to watch The Sopranos.
I'm losing all my television credit right here. But yeah,
me too. We're
like,
doing it hand in hand, brother.
We are, exactly. It is like the old days of television drama. Like even Breaking Bad was like that. I still remember the finale of Breaking Bad and like everyone watching it.
Yeah.
Just everyone talking about it, and it was an event, so it's cool that we're bringing that back.
Has there ever been a show that we've like gathered for, other than like sports?
The Oscars, but we usually just get really drunk for that. I don't think so. I've never actually been to like a TV show watching party.
I mean, I have. Not with you. Like I did like the Walking Dead in the early days. I was very into that. Like especially season 1. Fell off like immediately in season 2.
Right.
Though. But later on I picked everything up. Now, of course, I'm almost all the way up to date.
Yeah.
But anyway.
The pre-streaming feels like an eternity ago. Yeah, pre-streaming days. Like, it's weird to think about the pre-streaming days of television and film, even though it was like 10 years ago.
Pre-streaming?
That's actually before that. It's like 15 years ago. Yeah, like Blockbuster. And like,
you just
like
mean like
DVR.
before 4x.
The before 4x, yeah, the before 4x, when we didn't have vast quantities of entertainment at our fingertips at all times.
Bruh, hands up if you remember Mammoth Video. Everybody in chat, hands
Dude,
up.
oh, Mammoth Video fucking ruled.
Mammoth Video, I feel like they were the underdog all through the years.
They were. I miss Blockbuster. Like, there was something about going to Blockbuster, and I know this is like everyone says this, but like I totally relate to like Friday nights going to Blockbuster, like the weird smell of popcorn.
Yeah,
just like
stale popcorn.
Yeah, stale popcorn that was like stuck to the carpet. Going and like just like looking at all the movies and being young enough that like you don't know what movie is good, so you just grab one. Renting a video game.
Oh yeah, never turning them in.
having
your parents pay the late fees.
Dude, we used to hang out at that one Blockbuster.
So
Yeah.
when I went on my journey to Oregon, I went to a small town called Bend, and I saw the last Blockbuster. I didn't go in, but you know, I remember I saw it. I said, "There you are." I said I'd come to you, and I did.
It was like my dream to work at like a Blockbuster growing up, but they're gone. They're gone.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed pretty sweet.
Probably because like Be Kind Rewind.
Yeah.
Jack Black movie.
Yeah, I always thought like working
Or Clerks.
anything in film would be cool, like working in like a movie theater or something.
Yeah. Which probably isn't that fun.
Yeah,
like,
no.
That sounds awful.
Shout out to all the movie theater workers.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow. Well, that was a weird tangent we just went on there.
I was just thinking, I've seen a lot of assholes in movie theaters. I guess it'd be more fun to like be involved in the film side of things than like the having to deal with jerks.
That sounds. Yeah, exactly. Like same here in America, Ghost Hand. He says, or they say, here in Brazil we had lots of local brandless small movies and gaming renting stores, as well as a console set up to play an hour for like $2. Memories of renting the SpongeBob movie 10 times. Yeah. Yeah.
That warms my heart. That whole statement.
I remember like my most rented thing from Blockbuster was probably the Twisted Metal video game. I rented that game so much.
I did play a lot of Twisted Metal, but I really liked to wrestle. I was a wrestler.
Yeah, hell yeah.
SmackDown versus Raw was my shit, and basically anything that said SmackDown or Raw or WWF or E, I was in. Sign me up.
There was always that forbidden room with the beads in the back. As a young child.
Oh,
you know that room, the room that you can.
Yeah, you always try to like get a little peek.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're just like,
God.
fuck it, video games.
I just want to. If I get rich, I'm just gonna remake my house to look like a Blockbuster. Go live. That's my weird rich eccentric thing I'll do. Just live in a Blockbuster.
You remember those awkward moments with your parents at GameStop where they're like, "Sir or ma'am, this game is rated M. Are you sure you want to do this?" And you look at them and they look at you and you're just like, "Yeah, absolutely. We want to do this." And then they're like, "Yeah, I guess we want to do it."
Yeah, absolutely. Especially like Ghost End just brought up Mortal Kombat, like that. Those like Mortal Kombat was always the game where I would be like, be asked that and be like, eh.
Dude, God of War was like the first game that I was like, I have to play this game all the way through. It's rated M. Like I'm gonna pick this up, and it was just like the most awkward moment at GameStop because this dude knew exactly what was going on with this game.
Yeah, I'm thinking the first actual game that I bought that was like that, where I got that question and it was awkward, was Killzone.
Nice.
Do you remember the like original PlayStation 2 Killzone?
No, was it pretty bad?
It was just gory as hell.
God,
I missed the Killzone franchise. What happened to that?
Yeah, I got Killzone 2 with my PS3 and played the fuck out of it.
Yeah, those games ruled. And then Halo 3 also, and Halo 2 were also rated. And they don't feel like they're rated M. Like, well, I guess they do.
Is this a
But
podcast anymore?
I don't know. We're just reminiscing about the old times.
I gotta say, before we get back to the podcast, I
Yeah.
burnt the shit out of my fucking mouth on this tea before we started this
Oh,
podcast, and
damn.
I've been scared to take a drink of it ever since. So just take this
Yeah.
moment to
Yeah.
like carry on the podcast, and I'll be
Okay.
over here tinkering with this, trying to not
All
like
right.
hurt
Sounds good.
myself.
Talking about the old days. Let's talk about this remake that is coming out. Not a remake. Let me make sure. Let me confirm this news. I want to make sure it's not a remake. I think it might not be. It might be just a sequel. It is a reboot. So, this reboot is very contradictory to the original movie because Highlander, there can only ever be one. Yet, we're getting a reboot.
Of course we are.
But Henry Cavill says he's starring in it.
Okay, sign me up. It's so weird how this works. You're like, we're doing a reboot, and I'm like, fucking do something original. And Henry Cavill's like, I'm in, and then I'm like, fucking, all right, damn it.
So I think there was a sequel to Highlander. I never saw it. Like the first Highlander is pretty great.
Is he like our Sylvester Stallone?
Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
He probably will. He'll be like the Arnold Sylvester Stallone of our time. I think maybe Keanu Reeves is more like that.
That's yeah, okay.
But anyway, we're getting a remake of Highlander, reboot of Highlander. For those who don't know what Highlander is, it is a late 80s film, action fantasy film that was pretty sweet. It's pretty campy, but it's pretty sweet. It's all about these immortal people, where there can only ever be one. Well, like there's a bunch of them, and there can only ever be one, and they all have to fight and stuff. It has Sean Connery in it. Who stars in it? Second. Anyway, we're getting a remake of it. So I kind of had the same thing. I still think they shouldn't remake it. Oh, Christopher Lambert. But I mean, Henry Cavill's hot in the sense of like attractiveness and also like movie wise right now.
Yeah, and also like his commitment level is through the roof. You know, say what you will about the Witcher show, anyone out there, but that dude dehydrated himself for like days to play some of those roles, and he's not the only person to do that. I know like Christian Bale lost a gajillion pounds to play a role and stuff like that. That's all well and great.
Christian Bale's like an exception to
everything. That guy is wild. Respect though. But I'm just saying, like Henry Cavill's commitment level it is up there.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a whole movie with a mustache because he refused to shave it off.
For Mission Impossible. Yeah, Ghost Hand. Highlander 2 is an atrocity. It is so bad.
I haven't seen either of these movies, so.
Oh, we'll watch Highlander one of these times. We'll watch one of these times.
Okay, so I'm thinking future live watch party, ruining movies.
Well, okay, so I actually was gonna talk to you about this eventually. We should do live watching of movies on our Discord and stuff, and then we should take that audio and post them on YouTube. So if someone was watching that movie in the future, they can hear our commentary, like Mystery Science Theater. Be like the YouTube will be like, when this beep goes off, start the movie, and then the commentary will line up with the film. It could be just another type of thing we do.
Interesting idea. I was actually just thinking about like, coming over and watching a movie on stream.
I mean that too. I mean absolutely. No, I think we should do live. Especially we should do. We're just taking Mystery Science Theaters things, but everyone does it. We should just watch bad movies, but also Highlander is not a bad movie. We should just watch Highlander. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Is what I'm trying to say. All right. Well, that's all I had to say about the Highlander. Is that's kind of. We haven't really gotten much about the reboot, what it's going to be about. We just know that Henry Cavill is going to be starring in it, and Chad Stahelski is directing it. I don't know who that is. Let me look.
Yeah,
and see.
same.
Oh, he was the director of John Wick. Oh my God, you're gonna give me hope of this movie, aren't you? Fuck.
Oh, oh man! Next thing you know, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, why is he directing it? I'm sad. I'm not mad he's directing it. Like that actually makes me want to see this movie now. All right, okay, cool. You've got me. All right, another high action movie coming to Netflix. That looks really stupid. I'm just gonna
Army
say
of
that
the
right
Dead
away.
2.
I
Oh.
mean, no, we'll get to that. That's more than stupid. The Ice Road. Have you heard of this movie? I feel like one of those like
No,
fucking
but
like
it sounds
radio,
cool.
those radios. Have you heard of this?
Let me tell you about the Ice Road.
Okay, so I'm not gonna tell you the plot. I want to see if you can tell me the plot. I'm just gonna list who's the actors.
Okay.
Liam Neeson,
Nicholas. Liam. Oh, okay.
Holt McCallany,
Who?
Holt McCallany. I don't. Who's this? I think oh, he was the guy in Mindhunter.
Okay. Okay. I'm looking
Bill
him up.
Tench.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Lawrence Fishburne.
Hell yeah. Somebody's getting kidnapped.
What do you? Okay. And then Amber Midthunder. I don't.
It's probably gonna be her.
No, actually, it's not. What do you think this movie is about? With that cast, and it's called The Ice Road. I will say, and also to add on to this, the person directing it was the writer for Armageddon.
Oh. Well, that threw me off.
And he directed the 2004 The Punisher.
Okay. What do I think the plot is? Immediately I'm going to like there's a mystery on an ice road and Liam Neeson's at the forefront and has to solve it to like save someone. But now that you're saying these things, I'm thinking that like something came down and froze the world, and now it's on Liam Neeson and the gang to, you know, fucking fly a spaceship to the moon and push it into an alien or something.
You'd think that'd make a much more exciting movie. So this is the synopsis, the summary. After a remote diamond mine collapses in the far northern regions of Canada, an ice driver leads an impossible rescue mission over a frozen ocean to save the lives of trapped miners despite thawing waters and a threat they never see coming.
Oh.
From the trailer, the threat is people are trying to assassinate them on their way there. It's literally like it starts with Lauren Fishburne going around to all the other main characters and like recruiting them Fast and Furious style to go drive across the ice road.
Gosh. So I was almost there.
You were there. I mean, you were close. I watched the trailer before we started and it just looks so stupid. I recommend anyone watch the trailer. It looks like a hoot.
I will. I watched the trailer for The Green Knight. Finally, I told you.
Yeah,
that
what did you
the
think
other
of
day.
it? What thoughts?
I'm excited. It's a lot different than I kind of thought it would be
Right. Okay.
after like your description and us having spoken about it. But
Yeah.
I'm still equally excited. I think it looks great. I mean, I'm really hyped. It's just I don't know why I had a vision of like this trailer like putting me in the same mindset as like the Vitch or like the Lighthouse or something,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
some
Witch.
Robert Edgar stuff. But
Right.
it was like more like epic, upscale.
Yeah, more
than
epic,
that.
more like
It looks very cool.
It does.
I like
It looks
the idea that they're putting out there, the story they're trying to tell. It's all very interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. All right, so that's okay. There's one last movie I want to talk about. Unless is there any? I'm gonna talk about The Last Night in Soho. Actually, there's one other thing. Let's talk about before that.
Okay,
go ahead.
I only have one more movie I want to talk about,
Yeah,
other than James and the Giant Peach.
This is Army of the Dead.
Hell yeah,
We'll
it
get
is.
to that at the end because I have a lot.
Why
to
do
say
I
about
feel
that.
like we're gonna be just choking each other on the opposite sides of this fence?
Probably. I feel like so. I'm ready to fight. All right. So did you see the images for the new Uncharted movie? I didn't know Mark Wahlberg was in it.
He is? No, the only images I've seen were of Tom Holland, but I wasn't sure if they were real. Were they real? Is it Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg? I'm getting more
Yeah,
excited. Is Tom Hardy
Mark
going to be in it too?
Mark Wahlberg does not make me excited for movies.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't think
I
he's a good
understand
actor.
why. I like him. I
I
like him.
don't think he's a good actor at all.
I don't entirely disagree with that, but I just like him. You know?
That's fair. I mean, Tom Holland is a good actor, but I think Mark
Tom Holland's
Wahlberg's not.
fantastic.
Mark Wahlberg just plays Mark Wahlberg, which,
Hopefully, this movie was written around him.
yeah, hopefully he's not there long.
Uncharted, the Mark Wahlberg edition.
And yeah, so it's just an image of Tom Holland holding a flashlight and Mark Wahlberg standing behind him. It's nothing exciting. I just didn't know Mark Wahlberg was in it.
I wonder if he's gonna be Sully.
He is supposed to be Sully, but he doesn't have the mustache, which just sucks. Why doesn't he have the mustache?
Interesting. Okay, we'll see how this goes. I don't know. He's not. Sully was like an older dude.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg does not look like Sully at all.
Yeah, you should have cast J.K. Simmons. He's on a roll right now.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
He would have
Also,
been perfect.
Tom Holland, like, this image doesn't do anything because, like, Tom Holland doesn't look like Nathan Drake in it either.
Oh.
Like, it literally looks like it's just Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg hanging out in a crypt together.
Just ran away from some zombies.
Yeah, actually, now that I look at this more, it's like this could be like you could remove the Uncharted movie. It could just be like them hanging out together.
I'm looking it up. Hold on.
Yeah, if you go to r/movies, it's should be up
See
there.
Tom Holland. I'm looking for the Mark Wahlberg one. I just Googled it like a genius.
Nice, that works too.
It's not coming up though.
I'll send it to you.
Thanks. I could have done it the easy way.
I got you.
Oh shit.
Yeah, if I send that to you without telling you what movie it was from, could you tell me what movie that is from?
No, that just looks like two Nathan Drakes. Nathan Drake and his twin brother, Nathan Drake.
Right? It's like
I don't get it.
it looks so generic. Which again, like we've talked about, like when like we get releases for like film and stuff where it's just like the photo, it's kind of like I don't really care. But like at least like the other ones we talked about with the new Scorsese film, at least that looked like unique and had like some design to it. Like I feel like that just looks like it could be in a National Treasure movie. No shade throwing at National Treasure, but like you could say like Mark Wahlberg, Tom Holland in the new National Treasure movie, and I'll be like, all right, cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that Nicolas Cage took this picture.
Exactly. And I agree, Ghost Hand, Nathan Fillion should be Nathan Drake. Like, no shade at Tom Holland, but Nathan Fillion should be Tom Drake.
Looking him up. Oh, yes, sign me up.
Like, he should be Nathan Drake. He should have been in an Uncharted movie forever ago.
Wow. Okay. Hollywood, hit us up. You guys are fucking up. Like, I got places Tom Holland could be.
Yeah, he could be in a lot of other things. I mean, he could be fine in it. Like, this seems generic to me.
I'm sure he's gonna do a great fucking job because he's Tom Holland and I like him a lot. So, but I think Ghost Hand's onto something with Nathan Fillion here.
Oh, absolutely.
That'd be a good casting move, and I think him and J.K. Simmons would just nail it.
Yeah, who? Antonio Banderas is supposed to be in it too? Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
What has this person directed before? A bunch of TV.
Okay.
Which isn't like the worst thing. He directed Venom.
Okay.
And Zombieland Double Tap.
I didn't see that.
I didn't either, but I heard it's generic. He also directed American Housewife, some Superstore episodes.
Okay.
Jimmy Kimmel Live episodes.
Interesting. This is taking a weird direction.
All right, he did Zombieland, which I'll give him credit for Zombieland. I don't know. I'll just throw in I don't know. There was test footage for an Uncharted movie with Fillion in it. Oh my god, why didn't they just do that? Nathan Fillion deserved so much better. Him and Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, I
They
like
both
Brendan
deserve
Fraser a lot.
so much than they got. All right. So there's a little bit of television stuff I want to talk about, but while we're in movies, let's talk about Last Night in Soho. Did you watch the trailer?
No.
Oh my
Should
god.
I have?
Yes.
What is it?
Oh my god, it's Edgar Wright's new movie.
Oh, I should have watched it.
How long is it? I might make you watch it right now so we can talk about it. It's 2 minutes and 27 seconds. I think you should watch it.
Am I allowed to watch it on stream?
No, there's music. I mean, you could play it without the audio. Weird. I'll send it to you. It's up to you. I think it is worth talking about though.
Okay. BRB chat.
Yeah. Chat, I'll talk to you guys. If you guys have not seen Last Night in Soho, chat, I also am going to post it in chat. Recommend watching it. It looks so good. It's also going to lead into the film we're going to watch next week. But anyway, it's Edgar Wright's new movie. So excited for it. We also got some teasers for it and stuff too. I think we got a poster too. The poster's really cool. I might actually pick up the poster for the wall behind me. Oh no, we didn't. Shit. It looks. I'll talk about this. Yeah, it's Edgar Wright, so it's gonna be visually stunning. When Shayne's done watching it, I'm gonna talk about Italian horror, because it seems like Edgar Wright is pulling from Italian horror of the 70s, and 80s, and 60s, like Mario Bava, and that's. I'm a horror person. I like horror. I really like Italian horror. It's just always so visually stunning. So I'm excited. When we talked about Hot Fuzz, how Edgar Wright is very good at taking homages and his love for filmmaking and making something great from it. And I think Edgar Wright is kind of known as a horror guy, so being his first horror film, I think he's going to absolutely kill it. The acting looks great. It looks great. Oh, excuse me. But anyway, we're gonna watch Suspiria for next week. I'll tell Shane that. A movie that I've actually not seen. Which is surprising because that's supposed to be the best Italian horror film. But Mario Bava, I recommend to anyone really. Black Sabbath, Black Sunday, Blood and Black Lace, all very good films. And if you saw Del Toro's film, oh god, what was it? Del Toro.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about it. That movie looks. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. It looks so good. This is Edgar Wright's first dive into horror.
I was gonna say this is like a for real horror film. Like it looks
Hell yeah,
spooky.
it is. It looks spooky, and it's gonna lead into what we're watching for next week.
Perfect. Cool.
So, yeah.
More Edgar Wright or more horror?
More horror, specifically Italian horror. Because that's exactly what that film looks like. It looks like there's a term for Italian horror, that type of Italian horror. It starts with a G, let me find it. Giallo, which is like a mystery themed horror film that is shot very stylistically. Mario Bava is one of the known directors who does it, and so is Dario Argentino. And again, I was kind of talking with chat how Edgar Wright. What's up?
Hold on. I think Give me a test. Give me a test. Mic test.
Test 1 2 test.
Okay, should be good. Sorry, you're good. Carry on.
Okay. Anyway, I was talking to Chad about how Hot Fuzz was Edgar Wright's like homage to like action films. Like this looks like his homage to like Italian horror and just horror in general. So for next week we are going to watch the greatest, or I have actually not seen this film, which is very disappointing because I do like Italian horror and it is the most known Italian horror film and the one everyone talks about. We're gonna watch Suspiria, the 1977 version.
Suspiria. Okay, I've heard the name before, but I've never seen the movie.
There was a remake recently that was supposed to be pretty good, but we're gonna watch the original 1977 one, and it is somehow on YouTube.
Nice.
So
for free?
For free somehow.
Whoa!
I don't think it's been up for like a year or two, but it's still up there. It's full movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
And if somehow that gets taken down because of bad luck, Canopy has it. For those who don't know what Canopy is, if you have a library card, you can watch a bunch of free movies on it.
Nice.
I highly recommend it. But
visit your local library.
Absolutely. Shout out to your local library. So yeah, we're gonna watch Suspiria. It's supposed to be one of the best Italian horrors, and I think that's where Edgar Wright is going with this Last Night in Soho. It like looks like you said, it looks genuinely like scary.
Yeah, no, it looks spooky. I was like genuinely a little on edge as I watched the trailer.
Yeah, it looks
excited.
pretty like interesting too. It looks like there's like some weird like time stuff going on in it.
Mm-hmm.
Did I tell you I watched the New Mutants last week? So the reason I bring that up is because what is there? Anya Taylor-Joy is in Last Night in Soho. But she was also in the New Mutants. The New Mutants really was not good.
That's what I heard.
It had so much potential. I was kind of actually really disappointed in watching it. I knew it was bad, but like it like superhero X-Men like horror film had the possibility of being so cool. Yeah, it kind of sucked. But anyway, Anya Taylor-Joy was like one of the better people in that film, like acting wise, and she was also in the Queen's Gambit, and Peaky Blinders and stuff. So she's like also kind of like blowing up right now. So
cool.
It cool.
Yeah, she looked like she was committed to not having a good time.
Exactly. So that's exciting. I'm excited for it. It sounds like it's coming out in October, so that's the horror month.
Could you message me the name of the movie of the week?
Yeah.
Chat's telling me they think it's out of copyright. It's aged out of copyright.
It's from 1977. I don't think it's aged out of copyright.
Yeah. I think it's like 70 years for copyright.
Yeah, it came out in 77.
Yeah. But yeah, I gotta say, man, the sort of pathway that we've taken on this movie podcast has been really interesting.
It has.
I've enjoyed it.
This is our second like experimental Italian film. Which is kind of crazy because like obviously Italy, for those who don't know film history, is a very big part of film history. I mean, we've talked about spaghetti westerns, we've talked about Italian horror, we've talked about the new avant-garde of Italy and all that kind of stuff, but like we haven't talked about like France or like the Soviet Union or like British films yet. Well, we kind of did with like Edgar Wright. But it's kind of interesting that we keep going back to Italy.
Yeah.
Well, I keep bringing us back to Italy, but I'm cool with it. I'm excited. I'm excied. I have not seen this film, which is like a big mark on my record, which is so disappointing because I genuinely love Italian horror. It's always so stylish. The colors are all my favorite thing, which sounds so basic, but like you'll see when you watch this. Like Italian horror has this really nice color scheme to it.
Nice. I'm excited. I like that we're watching a movie that neither of us have seen.
Exactly. And it's horror. This is the first horror movie we're doing. I mean, okay, Train to Busan.
Yeah, that was like the only one, but we didn't pick it because it was a horror.
Right.
We picked it because it was I don't know why we picked it, but not because it was a horror. Yeah, it's just very good. That was the first one, right?
No. We did Color Out of Space.
Yeah.
Which also was a horror. I don't know why I'm not thinking those are horror movies in my brain right now.
Well, that's what I was saying about the arc, though, because we did a couple horror, and then we
Yeah.
did, a couple of like experimental films, and then we
Yeah.
did
Some
a couple of animated
comedies.
films this week, and we had
Yeah.
comedies, right? Did we do
Yeah.
comedies?
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz and
Yeah. And Scott Pilgrim.
yeah, Scott Pilgrim.
So it's like this like sort of path that we've taken has been very interesting. I like it.
Yeah,
Our
absolutely.
choices have been very good for one another's choices.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we talk about Army of the Dead, because I know everyone is just
Uh,
waiting so long to talk about it. Let's talk about TV stuff. We don't really have much going on here. The Friends reunion is coming up. I don't care.
ooh.
But I do have a question to chat and you, Shane. Is
Okay.
there any reunion for a show that you would be like genuinely like excited about?
No.
It's same. I don't get the appeal.
Especially not for stuff that's like over. I will
Yeah.
say I really liked El Camino, which was the film follow-up to Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't count that as like a reunion necessarily, but like they did what Girl Meets World with like the Boy Meets World follow
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
and I didn't watch that. I didn't watch Fuller House or anything like that. Star Wars because half of them are dead.
I mean, fair.
Thanks,
Fair
chat.
point. Fair point.
But yeah, like in retrospect, like all the shows that I watched when I was younger, like to completion, I don't know.
I don't know. I just
Nothing stands out.
yeah, when something's done, it's done to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't even think it's like a reunion show. It's like they're all getting together and talking and just
Mm.
I don't know. It's just never appealed to me. But it's like always a big event for people. So I was just
Yeah, I mean,
expecting
like
it to
they
like
did
be.
the Office one during, all
There
this
was a lot
COVID
of them during
action.
COVID. Yeah.
And I didn't see any of them.
Like
And like I'm an avid Office watcher.
yeah, I'll say like they did a Lord of the Rings kind of reunion during COVID that was pretty neat.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty cool. Didn't watch that one either.
Yeah, I watched parts of it. It was cool. But like also like I don't know. I just the Friends thing is like every other ad I've been getting is the Friends reunion and I'm just like I don't like who's this? Well,
Yeah.
obviously Friends is like the biggest television show of all time. I don't really care for it. Um so yeah. Along with that Bo Burnham's new specials coming out May 30th. We've talked about that a little bit in the past. I'm excited for that. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
we
I
should
was
be able to
actually
talk.
just talking about him recently, too.
Nice, yeah. So we should be able to talk about that next week if we both watch it. Um, usually those are like
Uh, yeah.
pretty short, so I'll probably watch it. And Rick and Morty is coming back. I have not watched Rick and Morty
Hmm.
past season 2, so but I know people are excited for it.
Has there been an announcement to like when it's coming out?
No, I don't think there's ever an announcement.
I know I've seen the trailers and stuff, but
Oh,
um,
and there's something
I
Postan wants us to talk about too after we talk
I
about this.
didn't watch the trailers, but I saw that they were out.
And I see there's also going to be a spin-off series called The Vindicators, like from that weird Avengers group.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Neat.
But it's like
I
going to be
guess.
like a digital only thing. I don't know. Rick and Morty, it just like I liked it the first 2 seasons, but like I kind of felt after it was like, all right, I've had enough. Not in like I think it's bad that it's still going. It just didn't have that sticky like it didn't stick to me, I guess, in a weird way.
Yeah.
But I
I've
still think like the first 2 seasons were pretty great.
I've seen it all. I've enjoyed it all. I'm excited that there's more. But like I'm not to that like hyper fanboy level
You're not
of
going to McDonald's and hoarding this.
yeah, like I'm not like that nuts about it, but like, I've watched it. It's funny. I've kept up with it.
Yeah, it's kind of like It's Always
Um
Sunny. Like the first 2 seasons were
mhm.
great. I watched them, but like a lot. But I haven't like watched any of the new seasons, and like I'm kind of okay with that because like the early stuff was so good.
Yeah. See, I'm on the other side with that too. Like I've watched all of It's Always
Yeah,
Sunny so many times.
right,
Yeah, that I am like a fanboy of.
right. I mean, Sunny's always fantastic. It deserves to be the longest running like TV show or whatever. Not TV show, be a soap opera. One that like it's like longest running comedy or something. I don't know.
It has something for being a long
Yeah, it has some
consecutive
record. I don't know what.
thing. Yeah.
All right. So, Ghost Hand brought up earlier in chat. We have something we have not talked about yet. I think we might have talked about it a little bit. But the Powerpuff Girls live action remake.
We have talked about that a little bit.
They say, have you guys seen the Powerpuff Girls live action reboot was canned and is being reworked. The script leaked and it's bad. I mean, I could have probably called that.
Imagine that.
I could have called that. I've seen the like ads and stuff for it, and just like again. Oh, we did talk about this because I said the same thing. Who wants this?
Yeah, like who are you marketing this to?
Like who?
Everybody that liked this, like either aged out of liking this or hates this idea.
Exactly. Like who wants this? Like a gritty remake of the Powerpuff Girls is so fucking weird. Give me a live. What did I call it? Powder.
It's not powder. It's power.
I know. Give me the Rowdy Rough Boys. That was like their that was their rivals, right?
Give me with just like the Green Gang. Like
it's like a live action remake of them would be sweet, actually.
Going green.
Wait. In the reboot, Bubbles fucking murdered Mojo Jojo. What the fuck? This is a CW show?
No.
I need to find the script.
That's crazy.
I need to find the script.
Speaking of power over powder, there was also a Power Rangers trailer.
There's like a television movie.
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
There's been like a new Power
I always
Rangers.
do this.
Like
I'm like, here's this tidbit of information, but don't rely on it. But yeah, that's crazy. Powerpuff Girls.
I'm gonna have to find the script. Maybe if I find the script for next week, maybe we'll do a live reading of it or something, or like a bonus stream. I'll do a live reading of it. We'll do a table read. We'll get some people. We'll do a table read. That'd be actually pretty funny. Oh my god, we should do table reads of really shitty scripts sometime.
Oh, dude, I want to be Mojo Jojo.
Mojo Jojo.
No, Bubbles, why?
That's just so weird. Okay, I'm gonna throw this out the chat. Another question into you, Shane. What would be another awful live-action remake of a Cartoon Network show? Would it be Courage the Cowardly? Oh, actually, Cow and Chicken would be disturbing.
But boneless chicken would just be a real chicken with no bones in it.
I was gonna say Courage the Cowardly Dog.
That would
just because I think the animation made that show so creepy.
Yeah, I like the animation, and I feel like if you take the route that my brain went, which is just an old ass couple with a lapdog, the lapdog has no personality, and that's what I loved about the show.
Let's look up Cartoon Network shows.
Eustace.
that show like traumatized me, but it was so good.
It's so good.
I don't care about any of the old. Like the newer stuff.
Yeah, like how old are we talking here? Because they just did a Tom and Jerry movie.
Yeah. Let's see. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy would actually be a pretty sweet live action remake. Have
might not hate that.
Bruce Campbell in it as like the character. Like in that show, there's like literally like a Bruce Campbell stand-in, like with the chainsaw hand and everything. I feel like Samurai Jack they would probably do awful if they try to do live action. Ed and Eddie is actually my choice for a really awful
that'd be weird,
live action. Yeah.
Okay, follow-up question. Who do you cast as Ed and Eddie? I want an animated version of Joe Exotic.
So if they did a Samurai Jack live action with Keanu, like I would be in for that. But if it was like a CW show, I think it would be awful.
CW Samurai Jack.
The Wahlberg brothers for Ed and Eddie. There's like 7 of them. I don't know all their names. Or the Baldwins.
The Baldwins. Just get 3 real brothers.
Yeah.
That is really funny. Oh, the Hemsworths.
I would actually watch that, though. That would be pretty sweet. What are famous actor siblings?
Liam, Luke, and Chris Hemsworth. That would be so funny.
Ashley, Elizabeth, and
Um,
Mary-Kate Olsen. that, that would actually be Andrew Wilson, Owen Wilson, Luke Wilson. Actually, that's my vote. I don't even know who Andrew Wilson is, but Owen Wilson and
they'd
Luke
make a
Wilson
good
would.
Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Yeah. Oh, the Hemsworth.
Wow.
Wow. Uh.
Oh man. Unseen is it? Oh my god.
Yeah, oh my god, actually John Cena as that would be okay. So I think the consensus here is if it's a CW remake, it would be awful. But if it was like an actual properly budgeted like Ed and Eddie with like John Cena and stuff, like I'm in. John Cena, Dave Bautista. Who's another
Man,
wrestler
that is
turned actor?
funny. It wouldn't work
The
because then we
Rock.
could only see two of them.
All right, this is my pitch. John Cena, Dave Bautista, The Rock, Ed and
Oh
Eddie.
man.
Just three really buff dudes. Do you remember the wrestling episode of Ed and Eddie where they wrestled the Canker sisters?
I think so.
Yeah, The Rock is.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, The Rock is Johnny. Who's Rolf? Taika Waititi.
Oh wow. Oh man. This is
This is our Starcast. All right, let's go into some actually.
Kevin Hart, John Cena, and The Rock.
Oh, I think we started with this big awful to something that I genuinely want to see happen. All right.
Oh man, an all-star cast.
All-star cat. Oh my god. Okay. Um let's talk about Army of the Dead.
Yes, finally. I've been chomping at the bit.
I don't. I'm just
Why
going
don't you
to
start?
I'll start. So I want to say I went into this as much smack talk as I talk about Zack Snyder. I went into this movie with an open heart, an open mind to give him a benefit of the doubt. I fucking hated this movie so much. It took me 3 tries to finish it.
Oh man.
I was that bored. It took me 3 times to finish this 2.5 movie. What, did you like it?
I think this is Zack Snyder's magnum opus.
I think it's his worst film. Hands
No,
down.
I don't think it's his magnum opus. I would give it, if I could rank it like 1 to 10, it was like, it's probably like a 5.
It's a 3. It's a 3
five
for
and a
me.
half for me.
It's
not like a top tier movie. It's certainly not a top tier zombie movie. But I like Dave Bautista a lot, and guns are cool.
The thing is, I like Dave Bautista too, but all the characters are so poorly written.
That's true.
Like, I did not give a shit about anyone in the movie at all.
They were all just like witty people that existed, and they did that little team thing that you were talking about earlier, like the Fast and the Furious style team thing. They gathered up. They talked like a little bit. They exchanged a little bit of banter, but ultimately, it's like when you met them, you just knew like they were gonna die. The only person that I even cared about was Dave Bautista, and to be clear, I did not care really about Scott whatever. I care about Dave Bautista.
Right, I don't even know I don't know the characters' names.
So that's a thing.
So let me start with my complaints with this. First of all,
not to mention the plot was weird.
The cinematography in this film made me want to throw up.
Dude, it was so fucking blurry. Have you seen the dead pixel memes?
Yeah, there was dead pixels in this film. There was fucking dead pixels in
a
multi-million.
With a broken camera?
They had to, but even that, like, you can edit out dead pixels. I know it's hard, but you have a budget. Oh God, it had such an interesting concept, but it felt so short. But the cinematography. So what he did is I read an interview with Zack Snyder about the movie after, which just pissed me off more. Um, he wanted to get this like charming like high tech mixed with high art style for this movie. So he went and got a bunch of lenses from the 70s and 80s and put them on his very fancy cameras. And he talked about how he wanted a very low depth of field, which makes everything blurry and only some things in focus, because he thought it would be a great artistic choice. It fucking sucked. This movie was so blurry and so infuriating to see. You're in Las Vegas, a place that is so exuberant and huge, and Las Vegas is literally all about just all glitter and glam and nothing else. And you shoot this film so you can't see any of it.
Yeah, it was as blurry as some of his movies, like as much as they have slow motion.
Right, and oh my god, the slow motion.
And there was still slow motion in this, naturally.
There was another thing, Sparky. My dog is like looking at me like I'm mad at him. I'm not yelling at you.
You're mad. He's mad, Sparky.
I'm not mad at you.
He's pissed. I'm just letting him go. I'm letting the dog off the leash. Both of them.
Then let's talk about the things that could have been exciting that never got any follow-up. Someone made a joke that we need to make a new literary term, a new filmmaking term for this movie. You know, like Chekhov's gun, where it says if you see a gun or a sword or like an important item in a movie, it will come back later.
Chekhov's safe.
Chekhov's safe, or like the saw. The saw that one character carried around the entire time, he did not get used once to kill an entire. Exactly.
He never even used it.
There was a scene in this movie where someone else touched it and he got all super angry. He didn't kill a single zombie with that saw.
No, and then he Indiana Jones his way to victory.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then the plot itself? So
it's crazy.
I would not have a problem with the plot if it tonally it decided what it wanted to be. The movie wanted us to take it seriously, but at the same time had a news cycle going on saying the president moved up the nuke and he's sorry that he was going to do on July 4th because he thought it would be cool. That's an exact quote from the movie.
Yeah.
It's like you're shot this very seriously. Oh my god. And
yeah, their jokes didn't really land because of the atmosphere that they provided. Yeah. And then you had this like plot that sort of made sense, but again, the other things that I just said sort of work against that.
Right.
And then intermingled with that, you've tried to do this like new thing with zombies and stuff.
Yeah.
And I could have grabbed onto a lot of these things, but all together, it just kind of made like a menagerie of mess.
Right, and like the plot was like the plot was simple. The plot was doable. Like the plot was like okay. I mean the nuke thing like, but my frustration's coming out. If you have a nuke about to blow up a city. Sure, that is a plot device. I don't care. I'm not going to say that's a bad plot device. But you have to have your fucking characters show urgency.
Right. Everybody's so lackadaisical like the entire time. Like, meandering around.
The city is about to get nuked like in an hour. And they go and just do random bullshit. And, oh my god. And then the daughter, this whole side quest, which everyone, like, it seems like the movie really wants us to care about the daughter. I didn't like her at all.
No.
Was
she
to
had
go
90 minutes.
Yeah, was to go rescue I think her name was Gita.
Gita, yeah.
We don't see her after she gets captured. There was no payoff there.
No. Like well no, they get to the helicopter, like they make it to the roof and he's like, "Oh, she left us." And then they get on the helicopter and then the helicopter crashes, never mentioned again.
Yeah, exactly. Like there should be some payoff in a movie. There should be some payoff. There was no payoff.
Dead.
Also,
so sad.
If you look at the plot even deeper, the whole thing that the casino guy wanted was the head of a zombie. Just make that the story. Like, I don't think anyone there in the group would have been, like, disappointed or, like, been like, oh, that's what we're doing? No way.
Right,
like,
they're in a fucking heist, mate.
Yeah. And then
Let's all work together.
the lady who comes with the social media guy jumps through a window, kills a bunch of zombies, and instead of in her last 3 minutes of living being like, that guy's screwing us all over,
And she just sits there.
she's
Dies.
like, go. It's like you had time. I'm sorry, you had time.
She just sits there and dies. It's like when there's like fucking 5 seats on the escape pod and there's one person in it and the dude's like, you go, I gotta go back. There's not enough room for both of us. And just like runs to his death for no reason. Oh man. Yeah, this it took a totally different approach than I anticipated. I'll give it credit for that.
I mean,
like I didn't think it went the way that the trailer kind of presented it necessarily, but that doesn't.
That's not. I don't think like that doesn't mean anything. You had like literally, you had a possibility of being a very fun movie. Heist, a casino heist in Las Vegas after a zombie uprising is a cool story. It is a fun story that I would watch over and over again. But Zack Snyder did his thing where he just makes it so complicated. It's like Zack Snyder doesn't know what people want. Like,
yeah, I feel like he had like a Charlie board behind him, like the Pepe Sylvia thing.
Yeah,
and that was like how he wrote this movie. I can't get over the blurry shit though. Like the first time that I saw it, I was like, okay, that's fucking annoying. And I didn't even notice the dead pixels. And then I did notice it today when I was watching a thing, and I was like, oh shit, that's actually pretty obnoxious. I didn't recognize that was a thing.
Right? Yeah. So there was dead pixels. Like honestly, I'm all for artistic choices. I'm all for filming things in interesting ways. I'm all for that. Like, I'm an experimental filmmaker at heart. But just doing something because it's artful and it looking that bad is not a good excuse. That movie genuinely looked horrible. Okay, so I'm looking at this list right now of all the other things that there was no payoffs, but so many setups. The Saw. The Rain to Wake Up Zombies, which is a very interesting idea.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
That's another Chekhov's gun thing. You call it out, say, oh, they're all dry and like they come alive in the rain. That's a good setup. That's a cool idea.
It's funny that you say that because I remember as I was watching the movie, when she said that, I thought to myself, oh shit, like it's gonna rain, they're all gonna fucking wake up. And I never thought about that again until this fucking moment when you're telling me that there was no payoff.
Idea. All the alien talk, like the zombie coming from Area 51. There was actually, if you look back, there was 2 UFOs in the beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That never came back. That's an interesting thing.
He just gives you like 3 things to kind of bite onto as to like maybe why the zombie thing started, and then you don't ever really get an answer.
And the thing is, like, I like a lot of zombie movies do that, and I'm fine with that. No one ever knowing the real reason for zombies, like Dawn of the Dead, all that stuff. They do that. But the thing about those zombie movies is they're compelling. You don't like. It's just like you don't need to know where the zombies come from because it's about the characters, but the characters don't matter in this film.
Right.
The robot zombie. There was a legit robot zombie in there.
Yeah, several. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I saw that shit. I watched like a video thing, and it was like frame by frame, fucking passing by, and I was like, "That's a fucking robot, 100%. That was a robot."
Yeah, absolutely. Again, interesting. Why don't you show us more?
Right.
The next thing is the helicopter kept crapping out, but then it's fine. I mean, I'll excuse that one a bit, but like still
the magical mechanic.
Yeah, exactly. It was on fire and they fixed it.
Yeah.
The entire "what if we are pawns in a time loop talk in the vault," incredibly interesting idea.
Yeah.
So, like when he said that, I was like, oh, that would be so brilliant. And then I was like, no, this is a Zack Snyder film. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. I will say Zack Snyder has like confirmed that there is no attachment to Dawn of the Dead. But like 2 things. Number 1, the name. Duh.
Right,
Number 2,
the Army of the Dead.
Right. What the fuck? Number 2, if we assume that the characters in Dawn of the Dead knew that Vegas had an issue, we could also assume that the guy at the end of Army of the Dead starts Dawn of the Dead.
Right. I think he's going to
So
Mexico
it's
City,
like,
but yeah.
well, I mean, like either way, it could become like widespread at that point.
Yeah.
But like it's put in place that like he said that there's no connection, but then it's like shown that there could be in multiple ways, which is kind of it's just weird. I don't know. I don't. It's weird. Carry on, and because it
Yeah.
just that's the payoff that I was thinking
Right,
was going to be a thing,
exactly.
and it's not.
Exactly. Um like the security guy just fell flat. Like obviously we all knew that he was going to be the bad guy, but like and that's not always bad. Like you can play with tropes, but like if you're going to play with tropes, at least like have them be good. Like he just like there was no payoff from there. I felt like this movie was all over the board, and I think it's just my normal complaint about Zack Snyder films. I just think this is the worst one of it because there was no payoff. It didn't really do anything in zombie movies that made it interesting, like Train to Busan or Dawn of the Dead. Like that's the thing, he made a good zombie movie before, but it
Yeah,
wasn't
Dawn of the Dead.
his. Yeah, it wasn't his property, and I think that's my main complaint of Zack Snyder is when he does his own things, it's not good.
I
Which
was gonna say I like Dawn of the Dead way more than this.
right, me too.
Yeah, that was actually like a cool zombie movie.
And like I don't know how anyone can watch this and still want the Snyderverse.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, like if you like Zack Snyder as a director, that's fine. I'm not a big fan of his stuff. 300 was I enjoyed. I liked Watchmen. I liked Dawn of the Dead. But his films just aren't for me, and I think I don't want to call them sloppy, but they feel sloppy. Specifically this movie. Dead pixels, blurry footage, not well written characters, no payoffs. Like those are all signs of being sloppy and kind of and usually I can forgive that kind of stuff if you are taking risks. And he kind of did take a risk with his movie, but at the same time it played it safe too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like you said, man. I think it had a pretty strong plot. In a world where Vegas is like trapped in a wall. And honestly, I thought that the opening sequence was really fucking cool.
Yeah, no, same.
I thought that
enjoyed
might have. I think that was probably the best part in the whole movie. It was incredibly gruesome, and like the way that it was edited to have the music line up with exactly what was going on screen was pretty fucking cool. But then it was pretty much all downhill from there. But like you said, I like that plot, like in a way
that
where it's
story
like
is a good idea. It's like like, but with any
a
other
heist.
director, like it would be good.
I think this would be great as a comedy directed by Edgar Wright.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Like I don't know, like I just feel like maybe in the world of Shaun of the Dead, one of these zombies happens to be on a plane to Vegas, and the American response is to just be like "Bleh," and trap Vegas in storage bins and send Dave Bautista on a heist. Shaun of the Dead 2, starring Dave Bautista as not Shaun.
Not Shaun. You know what I think is going to happen, because
there's so many plans.
As of a day ago, Zack Snyder confirms there's a Sucker Punch Snyder cut, which
why is that a thing, dude?
Sucker Punch will not get any better if you add footage to it. I'm sorry. I actually kind of like that movie.
You were the one that showed me that movie.
Yeah, I think thematically it's a very cool looking movie. It's the plot wise it's still all over the place, but like it's a cool looking movie. We're going to get an Army of the Dead Snyder cut one of these days.
When does Dawn of the Dead Snyder cut release?
God, I don't.
Dude, there's so many plans for Army of the Dead shit.
We're getting a prequel. We're getting a show.
There's a prequel, a show, yeah, all that shit. It's the fucking Army of the Deadiverse.
Yeah, I mean, Zack Snyder right here in this interview says Zack Snyder says his Army of the Dead 2 idea is insane. I don't believe that.
From what I've heard, it wrapped filming in like 2020. Think about that, dude. We're about to have a sequel within the next like 6 months.
Dude, and the craziest thing is we've talked about critics all the time and not to listen to them. This movie on Rotten Tomatoes still is like sitting at 60%.
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
I just don't know how one could watch this and find any redeeming
Did you not
qualities.
see the same fetus I did?
Like, it just, like, again, it had potential, but potential does not equal good.
No, man.
Especially if you fumble
What the
it
fuck?
that much.
Rockets have potentials, dude, but like even they fucking explode. Like,
oh my god.
man.
Like, IMDb is 6 out of 10. I honestly think this is his worst film. I think it's everything he does wrong in his movies in a movie.
I think it's his worst film that I've seen because I definitely don't think
Yeah.
I've seen every Zack Snyder film, but
Oh my god.
it's not the worst film I've seen, but it's the worst film of his that I've seen for sure.
Yeah, I'm just looking at these facts too. It's Dave Bautista turned down an offer to appear in the Suicide Squad 2021 in order to work on this film.
Okay, so my opinion on that is kind of weird because like,
Yeah.
did he give it up and John Cena took it? Because that I don't care about.
That would be funny.
Did he give it up?
I don't know.
Instead of being alongside John Cena, because that would be kind of sucky.
I don't know. It just said he turned down an offer to appear in it and to work on this film. Let me see this. I want to find the thing about the lens specifically.
Yeah, I'm not thrilled about the follow-ups.
And like I said, I went into this movie knowing my biases against Zack Snyder. I tried to remove them. It literally took me 3 times to finish them. I was so bored after 45 minutes. I stopped and went and did something else. Then I came back later that night, watched another 30 minutes of it. Then I think it was at that point where the girl didn't yell out what was happening and just died, and I was like, I fucking hate this. Turned it off again, and then...
Dude, she's the most badass character in the movie.
She is.
Fucking died immediately.
I think the fucking social media character is also an interesting character idea for a zombie movie.
He was cool. He was just there for the vine, bro.
This is actually this was the longest zombie film of all time. Which it didn't need.
Even longer than World War Z? Holy shit.
I think so.
That's crazy. It did take me 2 sittings. I will say that. I didn't watch it in 1 go through. I watched it in 2.
It went in, yeah. Oh, this is Snyder's second film based on an original concept. First one was Sucker Punch. Talked about how Sucker Punch visually was interesting, but the plot was everywhere.
It's zombies, bro.
Well, it's not like the zombie. It's like his was his original like Vegas zombie. I don't know. This is the first film that Zack Snyder has ever shot digitally. Well, you fucked that up, Snyder. I'm sorry. Fuck that up.
Yeah, I mean, you had dead pixels, bro.
Yeah.
What good was it to film digitally?
And this is something how do you film a Vegas film and not have it be
Bright lights, big city.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, okay. And then there was one other problem that this can be very picky of me. There's a reason people don't use the song Zombies by the Cranberries in Zombies film. Yeah. Because it's not a movie about zombies. It's a song about two kids killed in an explosion during the Troubles in Ireland. It is a very sad song. Not about zombies. It is a very serious song about the Troubles in Ireland. Yeah. I actually was pissed off when I heard that song in it. There's a reason no other zombie movie has ever used that song. Because you listen to it and you know it's not actually about zombies.
It's a travesty.
Yeah, and it's just like... I feel like that just sums up Army of the Dead. He saw a song called Zombies, didn't look into anything, didn't get deeper with it, and threw it in. And that's Army of the Dead. I have nothing else to say.
I feel like he was in Vegas one night, like drinking, and he saw somebody like on the street, like, and he was like, oh, holy shit, this is it. this is my fucking magnum opus. I have to make this movie. And he like went back to fucking Tomorrowland or wherever the fuck Zack Snyder lives, and
Probably lives
started
in Vegas.
writing this insane movie. Yeah, he went from the casino to his penthouse apartment and started drawing crazy doodles of muscular men doing front flips over card tables and throwing fucking poker tables. When Dave Bautista did that, I was like,
Yeah.
he's a fucking robot too.
Right? Oh my god. I just
Immediately, my dad was like, those things are heavy as shit. And I was like,
Right?
hell yeah, they fucking are. And he just threw that thing like a baseball.
uh,
Man. I cracked up when I saw him do that. Oh, man. I haven't heard you this fired up about a movie in a while.
it's because it's just I love zombie films. I thought the concept was good. My Zack Snyder frustrations have been building up ever since the Snyder Cut. I just
We've talked so much about, like, you know, doing a good zombie film, making a good zombie film.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it a bunch, not even just on the Train to Busan episode.
Just about that zombie movies have like they aren't always used as social commentary, but they usually are, and it's a great way to talk about social commentary. There was no social commentary in this movie at all, unless I missed it. I guess there was like a weird immigrant thing, but like again, when Zack Snyder tries to do like political things or like anything with philosophy, like look, Superman's Jesus, it usually falls flat because I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, I will say there wasn't any like Jesus metaphors.
Surprisingly,
maybe.
I'm surprised Dave Bautista didn't like
I was
walk
gonna
out
say.
of like a door with his arms like on both sides.
I thought when the helicopter crashed, he was just gonna be like sprawled out on the fucking propeller.
Yeah. God, what was I saying? We when we talk about zombie movies, we always talk about the most important thing. We even talk about this in Color Out of Space, and other horror movies. The most important thing about those movies are its characters, are the human connections. You want to have a connection with the humans to have them survive. Like in Train to Busan, it is, as much as it is a zombie movie, it's also it's a film about a father and a daughter and trying to get a connection.
It keeps it grounded.
Same thing happened in Army of the Dead, but I hated both of the characters.
Yeah, it was literally the same story. Father has to get daughter to point A,
and daughter
like that
doesn't
was
like
it.
Father,
and daughter doesn't like
lives.
father, and daughter lives. Holy shit! The same story. And I absolutely adore one of these movies, and the other one, like, I'm about to cancel my Netflix subscription.
I mean, honestly, like that's kind of a joke. Like I wouldn't cancel it just because of Army of the Dead, but like
no, yeah,
they're just not making good stuff anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if I said it last week, but I did finish Love, Death, Robots, and I agree completely with you and whoever said it in chat. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I do recommend that if you are interested in it, you should watch it. But it does not live up to its predecessor.
It's not as good as the first one, and that.
It does not live up to it. But I will say, like, I agree again completely. Like the bar was set so ridiculously high. Yeah, and it feels like there might have been a little bit of a shift because of popularity and stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just.
But I did enjoy it, and I do recommend it. It was still very good.
Yeah. I mean, I still liked it. Did you have a favorite?
Probably Pop Squad. I don't know. That's
Pop
like
Squad
the one
was
that
good.
stands out in my mind.
Yeah.
Pop Squad. The last one was really cool too. The one with Michael B. Jordan. But like, okay, first of all, it felt like 5 or 6 of those 8 episodes all had the same animation style, and then the other ones didn't. And it also felt like that Michael B. Jordan story was like the same plot as the first episode, except instead of a fucking cleaning vacuum, it was like a space robot.
Yeah.
Like it was the same plot.
You're right, actually. What the fuck?
It was just prettier and gorier.
Yeah. So to wrap up this Army of the Dead segment, and we can talk about James and the Giant Peach. I just found this quote from Hideo Kojima. For those who don't know, he is
Silent Hill.
yeah, probably one of the greatest
Metal
minds
Gear
in
Solid.
video game history. Whatever that walking simulator one that came out recently.
E.T. Oh, yeah, Death Stranding.
Yeah, like pretty like crazy eccentric art guy on the gaming world who's like really good at what he does. I just want to leave this with his quotes on Army of the Dead, because he hits what I hit, I think, but he's a little bit more sympathetic. This is what his quote says: "I watched Army of the Dead, which is now available on Netflix. It was a painful, entertaining, snidering zombie movie that entertained me by turning my head into a zombie. Not to scare me, not to make me laugh, not to make a metaphor for society."
Oh, wow. I can't believe you called him sympathetic.
Well, he said it was entertaining. I'm not even giving him that. But I think that's a good way of putting it. It turned my head into a zombie, not to scare me, not to make me laugh, not to make a metaphor for society. It literally is just, what he's saying here is, if you turn your brain all the way off, you might like it, but I wouldn't even give it that.
Man. Yeah, it says it's like as exciting as when you go to like a bonfire with a bunch of people you're not really chill with, so you just like watch the fire burn for a while.
Exactly.
Except you're doing this for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you like watching guns go pow and zombies run around, and like I said, Dave Bautista was the redeeming quality to this movie. Not his character, not his plot line, not his writing. Dave Bautista. Just the fact that he existed, and I'm a fanboy.
Yeah.
The case would be true also if this role was played by someone like Tom Hardy. Like, I would be in the same boat. I would say, I like Tom Hardy. That's the thing I like about this movie.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you know, guns go bang.
Yeah.
Zombies go grr. You kind of missed the mark on this one, Snyder.
The action scenes aren't even that great. I don't
No, the quote unquote coolest action scene in the movie had two of my least favorite parts in it. It's when they're like running away from all the zombies in the casino, and my two least favorite parts were when the fucking social media guy seppuku'd because I wanted him to kind of make it further. He was like, again, like you said, probably the most interesting character idea.
It really was. Even
and
the
he also
guy who was supposed to be like interesting and quirky and stuff, like we've seen that done before. I didn't care.
Yeah, the social media guy, not only did he like come there for the lulz or whatever, but he immediately lost someone. Yeah. So like you knew that he had motives and shit like against the one dude, like he had like an interesting thing going for him.
Yeah.
So when he died, I was like, well, that fucking sucks. He was like my number two to Dave Bautista there for most of the movie. And then Dave Bautista threw a poker table, and I was like, this fucking movie is crazy. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Oh my god. We didn't even talk about the slow motion and the unneeded slow motion. Which there wasn't as much as I thought there was gonna be.
I didn't even notice the slow motion because I was so pissed off at the blur.
You're right. And then the lack of color. Zack Snyder, it's okay to have. It's okay
I was
to have a
watching
little
the black
bit of
and white
color.
edition.
It's okay to have color in your films. It's okay. No one's gonna think differently of you. It's okay to have color in your film.
Yeah. And I don't want anyone to take this movie and be like, I should never try to do anything different with zombies.
No.
Like, I think doing something different with zombies is a good idea. You can do that. You just have to like get your shit together. Don't do what this guy did.
Literally, that's it. Like you had dead. I mean, we can just bring it back to this. This is, I think, the final thing before I like literally have an aneurysm. You had dead pixels in your movie.
The life. That's the life. That's the life.
All right, so this week we watched James and the Giant Peach, the 1996 Henry Selick directed Roald Dahl. I can never say their name right. You know the writer of Willy Wonka and the Witches. You guys
Hold
know who
on.
I'm talking. The famous. It's written by him. James and the
Hold
Giant
on.
Peach. It is the stop motion film. That I feel vindicated for as a child because this movie is terrifying. I was terrified of it as a kid. I
Don't
watched it
scare
again,
kids.
and it is a terrifying movie.
Don't scare the kids.
It's okay. It's not like the story isn't terrifying, but God.
No, when I was watching it, I was like, okay, I could see why a kid would be afraid of this.
I watched it twice. I've been a little personal stuff. I've been getting off some medicine that has given me insomnia. Like the withdrawals have given me insomnia, so I haven't been sleeping that much lately. So I watched it once when I was awake for 23 hours straight, and I was like, oh God, this movie is so trippy and surreal. It's kind of scary. And then I watched it again after I woke up, and I don't think my mind changed. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's actually a pretty good movie. It's pretty sweet.
I'm glad that you said that because I really enjoyed it. And after saying what I said last week and watching this again, it's like, yeah, I could see how this influenced me as a kid. I have a great way of looking at things differently and,
Wait, what the fuck?
all that shit.
I googled it because I wanted to get the IMDb page up, and the first question is why was James and the Giant Peach banned? And I guess in the book in 1986, a Wisconsin town banned the book because religious groups thought a scene featuring the spider licking her lips could be taken in a sexual way.
What the fuck?
The Satanic Panic was wild.
Jesus,
Chad.
mate. Come on.
Give me a good film about the Satanic Panic because things were fucking wild back then.
Yeah.
But anyway, Shane, I think you take it away. Take away. What is this movie? What happened in it?
James and the Giant Peach is a tale about a young lad whose parents were taken away from him by a quote unquote rhino. I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah.
But moving on, his parents were stripped from his life, so he was sent to his aunt's house. I can't think of their names right now. Striker and
it was
Sponge.
Sponge and Striker.
And they suck.
Spiker, yeah.
They're terrible.
They're some of the worst characters. Not like worse than like bad written, but like they're awful humans.
Yeah, I think at its core, this story is probably about like a tale about child neglect.
Yeah, absolutely.
But ultimately, through a series of magical events, he meets a guy that gives him some glowing bugs. They make a peach grow on a tree. It grows super huge, and he uses it to escape his wretched aunts, and he goes on a great series of adventures with some animated bug friends of his that he makes that teach him to, look at things differently and be who you are and be adventurous and go where you want to go and do what you want to do. And he does. He makes it all the way to New York City. And then the cops take his shitty aunts away, and all is well. He eats the peach and shares it with all the people in New York and his friends. And it's a really beautiful story.
Yeah, and I mean it's a pretty simple it was taken from a children's book, but it was adapted really well. I think the adventures, like the rhino, was like terrifying.
Yeah, he also defeats the rhino in the end.
Yeah, the stop motion animation is so good. I really liked the style. I think last week you said it was Tim Burton who directed it, which it wasn't.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that to call you out, but I'm saying that because like it feels like a Tim Burton film.
Yeah, he 100%. Just produced it. And there is Jack Skellington.
Jack Skellington is in the film.
Yeah.
They call him a Skellington.
Straight up. That was so cool. And I love the fact that it's like, so I don't know what year Nightmare Before Christmas came out, but I think it was before this. 93? Okay, so it goes from, just hear me out here, Jack Skellington, Captain Jack Skellington, Captain Jack Sparrow, when he's first met, is in fact a Skellington.
Oh shit, you're not wrong. We found the trilogy.
The other thing I wanted to say is, as you said, this was based off of a book that is mighty old. I don't remember when it was written, but I had a little theory in my mind.
Yeah.
At a certain point, the rhinovirus was a fatal thing in our lives, and from what I understand, the rhino is a metaphor for death, but in the children's story adaptation for Disney, it is a metaphor for fear.
Right. The book came out in 61, by the way. I just looked it up.
61? Okay.
Mhm.
I don't know how far along our knowledge of the common cold was or how old the author was when that was written, but isn't it possible that that author
Yeah, I mean, it could
at
be.
some point could have lost their loved ones to the rhinovirus? And not only is it a metaphor for death and fear, but also a literal connection to that. That was the first thing I thought of because it's like it's
I didn't think
super
that.
ambiguous in the story. In the beginning, they're like the rhino took them and it's gonna get you too, and it's like I was just thinking like it's a pretty old story. You know, medicine has come a really far way in a really short time. Uh, you know, it was just before the early 1900s that we were like learning that germs were bad and gloves were good.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like that far of a stretch that maybe this was in some way based around that. But I have no way to confirm that. This is all just conjecture, just throwing it out there. Thought it was an interesting thought while I was watching the movie.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. He was born in 1916. So, I mean, absolutely. That lines up.
Here we go. Last fatality from the common
I mean, I
cold.
think that's going to be like 2021.
Yeah, maybe.
Because, I mean, Jim Henson died of
Yeah,
pretty
this is
much
true.
the flu in
Yeah,
1990, like 92.
yeah, you're right, man. Chemotherapy like ruins people's bodies and gets them killed in silly ways all the
And
time.
people just don't go. Like, that's Jim
Yeah.
Henson, like, this is going back to the Muppets last week, but Jim
Um.
Henson literally died because, he didn't want to bother people by going to the hospital, and the doctors say if he came an hour earlier, he would have survived. So, I mean, people, it happens.
So,
But
yeah.
that connection, I think, is a good one. I had never thought about that.
Yeah. I mean, there is technically no cure for the common cold. You can just treat it.
Yeah.
It's a virus, so it's very possible that the author of this was born in 1916 at a young age of, let's say, 10, like the wee James.
26. Yeah, I mean, the Spanish flu is about in that area too. So,
Yeah, so I don't know. That's where my head was at when they were talking about it because it was just so. So there are other things too that kind of don't encourage this thought. Like on the opposite side of this, we can just assume that fantastical things happen all the time.
yeah.
In this universe. So like a peach is grown and then all this fantastical shit's going on and then his aunts like drive their car across the ocean.
Right, exactly. And they use birds
Yeah, to
to
fly their
fly.
peach and stuff. So like we can also just assume that like a literal rhino came from the fucking
Yeah.
havens and defeated this kid's parents in some way that he was able to
Right.
beat that thing later. I don't know. But
I
like
mean, yeah, and we also
oftentimes these stories are based in reality in some way.
right. I mean, we kind of get that they're adventurers too. Is like they're his parents. Like the way he talks about them, like that could be an unreliable narrator, but he talks about them like going and traveling everywhere. That's kind of why he wants to travel to New York. So like
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
run into a rhino out there.
Yeah, definitely. Like they could have literally been ran over by a rhino or something like in the Sahara,
Yeah.
like doing stuff. Or I don't know, maybe a fantastical rhino swooped them up. Or maybe they died from a terrible virus.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's like it is the kid telling the story at the end. So it is. We have the
True.
unreliable narrator. Even though that creepy guy with the fucking bugs is also there. I don't like how he winked at us at the end.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that
thought it was
was
creepy.
such a weirdo.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it is such a bizarre tale, and I mean, if you look at Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which is also a very bizarre tale, there's something about like those children books that have like this strange, fantastical nature to them that, especially doll books, that do feel very surreal and very very they're not concrete, and I do like that about like the children's books and children movies. Is like you don't have to have concrete things going on. You can have these very abstract ideas, like the possibility of the rhino being a virus, or did his parents actually die because it from a rhino, because we are following James's story, so it's his thought process. He's still a kid, so
Yeah.
the only reason at the end we know that this is a true story is because he's actually living in a peach
In New York.
In New York.
Yeah.
The only way that like if that didn't end on that shot, I'd be like, is any of this real because of the whole unreliable narrator thing?
Right.
But like we actually get a shot with that. Yeah, so let's talk about what makes James and the Giant Peach James and the Giant Peach. So we can break it down now so we can rewrite it in a little bit. It's a musical. It's the second musical we've done in a row.
Yeah, yeah. Did I ask you if you liked this? Did we talk about that?
Yeah,
Did you like it?
I liked it. I liked it.
Okay.
So there has to be a musical aspect to it. It has this like weird like 20s and 30s New York vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like especially the centipede always had the cigar and it was like, here, see, I'm walking here. Like it's like that, but a centipede.
I wouldn't have been surprised if King Kong helped them down from the Empire State Building.
Exactly. It had that weird like Tim Burton-esque aesthetic. Which I mean makes sense. The 90s is when Tim Burton was the biggest he's ever been. We have his Batman. We have Nightmare Before Christmas. Everyone was trying to copy that style. Not like copy that style, but like kind of like pull off that whole emo aesthetic, I guess.
Emo aesthetic.
That's where I'm putting the Hot Topic.
Yeah.
We also had Edward Scissorhands came out in the 90s.
Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks came out in 96.
Just a producer. I think that's worth noting.
Yeah. Batman in 89. Beetlejuice in 88. So like this was like prime Tim Burton. So you have to have that Tim Burton 90s aesthetic. It has to be childlike in a like childlike wonder kind of.
Okay.
There has to be, I think, some stop motion element to it. I really enjoyed the stop motion art of this. What else? Chat. Do you guys think there's anything else that makes this? If you've seen this film, obviously. Anything that makes James the Giant Peach James the Giant Peach? What is like the core thing you'd think of, like in one word, when you think of this movie? Perspective?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the whole point of a lot of what's going on is just looking at things differently.
You're right, because like the insects being large, you also have the perspective of like actually, yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree.
He even says like that's what his parents told him. He uses it later, and he does the damn thing.
Hell yeah! All right, well I can't unless you can think of anything else to add to this list. So when we remake this film, we need to make it a musical. It has to have a 20s, 30s style New York vibe to it. It has to have a Tim Burton aesthetic. It has to show some childlike wonder. We need to throw some stop motion in there, and it has to be a film about perspective. So let's.
I love that it is like a hybrid movie. It's like some stop motion, some live action.
Yeah, I like agree that. With that. I agree.
I thought in my memory there was more stop motion.
There was, same. I thought there was more. I thought we got into the Peach like pretty early from my memory, but we don't.
Although there was some frames like when he was singing in the beginning, making the hot air balloon and stuff, and it was like shot over his shoulder, and he was like drawing. Yeah. Maybe it was the glare on my glasses. Maybe it's because I was watching on my computer screen. It could have been any number of things. But I looked at it and I was like, damn, if I didn't know better, that looks like really sophisticated animation.
Right, yeah.
It's just maybe it was like the lighting in the room or something.
I'm trying to think of like the scene.
He was singing a song. Like right when he met the spider, he sung her a song.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it could have been. I can't remember exactly.
It was not animation.
It was not? Okay.
For sure. No, it was live action. It just like... It just kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah, probably the lighting. Okay, yeah, lighting can make it seem like animation. Okay.
It was interesting. It's just like, it had me thinking, like, man, this movie feels like it's in a lot of different mediums.
Exactly. I mean, I like that. I like... There's kind of... The stop motion boom in the 80s and 90s that was used in a very artistic way. We have Alice... coming out of the Soviet Union. I think that was from the 70s that it uses stop motion really. That wasn't. I don't think it was Soviet Union. It was Eastern Bloc. We have Nightmare Before Christmas. We have the Argonauts. I think that was a little bit earlier, but I guess like stop motion felt like it was more accessible back in the day. Like we still get stop motion films like Isle of Dogs and Kubo and the Two Strings. But I don't know. I just felt like we got more back then.
Yeah, no, I
I
agree
could be
with
off
that.
though. I could be off because now it feels like all stop motion is like Robot Chicken, which is not a problem.
Right.
This feels like it was used more back in the day. All right, so let's get to this part, the last part of our show, the core of our show. For anyone new here, this is the part of ruining movies where we ruin the movies by taking what you guys voted on in our Discord to see how we are remaking this movie. Because we are remaking this movie. It is not a prequel or a sequel. It is a remake in the
nice.
crime genre.
Ooh,
So like
I will say,
it's like Sopranos, Goodfellas.
nice. I said in the beginning of the
Godfather.
podcast, unlike last week where I said in the beginning that I was not excited for the end because I thought it'd be hard to remake the Muppets, I did say in the beginning before I jumped in chat, I think this is going to be a little easier to remake than something like the Muppets.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. So, I mean, crime remake, that can already get us New York's 2030s.
They call me Jimmy, and I'm here to
Exactly.
get the peach.
So, I mean, the remake obviously is going to not be a modern day crime film. I feel like it has to be like Godfather style, but
Like
earlier.
1920s, like
Like height of American crime. We have Bonnie and Clyde still running around, I think, and all like literally like our like the famous people of that era are criminals and crime lords and gangsters.
Fuck it.
So it's set up in New York in the 30s. Let's boom there.
Maybe he's like.
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
for it.
No, carry on. You were gonna say
I
a
was
thing.
just gonna ask what's next.
Oh, I think that there's somebody in New York who has grown a giant peach, and Jimmy,
Ooh.
the gangster, who
Yeah.
just wants to get out, is just trying to do his last job, and he's got to get this peach so that he can retire to the English countryside.
What if it's the peach is definitely the main, like the peach is the event that triggers
Pechov's peach.
Yeah, that triggers the entire film. But what if it's not the peach the gangsters want? It's those bugs that can grow things to insane sizes. Think about oh god, is this Prohibition era? When was Prohibition?
Probably. I don't know. Roaring 20s.
Yeah, 1920 to 1933. So this is during Prohibition. We can have some liquor runners, some run runners. Get those bugs. I mean, you only have to smuggle one case of beer if you have those bugs for an entire year.
That's true.
It's also weird, like James of the Giant Peach.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the bugs. The bugs are something crazy, fantastical that can. I mean, I guess you could
maybe
turn the peach into alcohol if you ferment.
Yeah. What if Pete Postlethwaite, the creepy guy,
Yeah,
is instead of these bugs unto James, maybe he's just the bug man of New York, and people come to him like the Kingpin or something,
Yeah.
So there's these mafia dudes that need to run bugs because it helps their wheat grow faster, and maybe they do have a giant peach that they want to do something with, turn into their hugest line of peach schnapps.
Hell yes, absolutely. That's
enough for the year.
Childlike wonder. And maybe the peach isn't the inciting incident. Maybe he's going after the bug man. He gets somehow the peach stops the pursuit. And inside the peach is a bunch of rats, and they're a rival gang.
Oh,
and that's
is this like a Trojan horse?
Yeah, that's like the stop motion element.
Oh.
We see Jimmy turned into a stop motion character within it, and instead of like all the insects, it's like a bunch of like wise talking rats with like
Are they
Tommy
like
guns.
are they Trojan horsing their way into this other gang?
Yes, absolutely. Now there's a rat problem. It's all about perspective.
Oh, I see we got a rat problem. No,
Hey.
you're the rat problem, see? Oh, they're laying lead into our peach.
Oh my god, yes, and there would definitely be. Oh my god, we could have a stop motion scene where it's like those old school like gangster like car chases where like people are leaning out of the peach with like Tommy guns, just like.
Hell yeah. Man, I like the idea of Jimmy just like being unfortunately tied up in all this, right? Like
exactly.
His boss owns this gang that's got this peach, and he's like, "We need you to, get to the bug man or whatever." And
Yeah.
something happens that leads him to going into the peach. Maybe he gets the bug, and he's got to give it to his boss, and the bug jumps into the peach and goes inside, so he follows it in and finds all the rats.
And it's like a speakeasy inside the peach.
Yeah,
but
and
it's a bunch
maybe
of
it
rats.
changes his perspective, like when he sees that the rats are just like them. Maybe it's like on the inside of the peach, there's like a speakeasy full of rats doing stuff, playing poker and doing all that, and then on the outside of the peach, there's just a whole bunch of people in a speakeasy playing poker and drinking peach schnapps.
We're all just the same. Yes, exactly. That's the perspective. Absolutely. What's the musical aspect? That's the only aspect we haven't touched on. What's the musical aspect of this film?
Well, of course, as soon as he meets the rats, they have to sing to him about something.
Rat stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
About being a rat. Something about cheese and getting the cheese and surviving the streets of New York. We're rats, cheese, not cats.
Please, get the cheese. There had to be like an opening song, right? Like when you meet Jimmy and the gang.
Maybe it's his last dance. He's singing about seeing the city.
Aww.
He has his like trench coat on, his bowler hat. He's singing.
Trying to take in the last sights because he's trying to retire to the countryside.
Exactly. Maybe like, what if Jimmy? I think this is like a saying in old gangsters. Like, I don't know if they called like killers like rat catchers or something, and like they're taking care of the rats. Maybe that's what he was.
Okay.
Like he like took out other gang members.
Yeah,
and this was his last. He's the rat catcher. Maybe it's Jimmy the rat catcher. I can't remember what James' last name is. What is
James?
his last?
James. It's just James.
Okay, he doesn't have a last name.
No.
Jimmy the rat catcher, and then he's going for one last kill. Then he's out and he's singing about it, and then he meets the rats.
He meets a family of them and like a bunch of them. They're living in this giant peach. Oh my gosh. And I like so like at the end, of course, he turns on his gang, or everybody gets along, and he takes the rats with him to the English countryside.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Oh yeah, this could be in like London too.
Well, my thought was like it'd be the opposite, right? So James and the Giant Peach goes from England to New York, so this one would go from New York to England. Like he just retires to the countryside, a house on the hill.
Yeah, we can just call it James with a Giant Peach too. It doesn't even need a different name.
Jimmy and the Peaches.
Jimmy and the Peaches. Yeah, it's Jimmy the Peaches. Hell yeah. Awesome. Do we have anything else to add? I think that's a great fucking remake.
Yeah, no, I think we nailed it. This is just... I'm so glad that we watched this again. It sort of, like, reminded me of how I got here, you know?
Absolutely.
That's a weird thing to say, but I'm not trying to get, like, too personal or anything, but it's like, you know,
last
it's good stuff.
Weeks we've covered our childhood movies.
Childhood stuff and animation sort of like in the same week. See, that's what I was saying. Like these last 2 weeks have been like animation, and the 2 weeks before that were whatever we did before that. Edgar Wright, right?
Edgar Wright, yeah, we did 2 Edgar Wright movies, and now we're doing we're jumping
comedy
into some Italian horror.
Nice, yeah, we got a good mix here.
Suspiria. So yeah, next week, Suspiria, everyone. It's on YouTube. 1977.
So I think I'm going on my pick maybe to keep consistent. I'll go Korean horror.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, anyway, chat, everyone watching, listening in the future, thank you guys for listening, playing along at home, chatting with us. This has been Ruining Movies, the James and the Giant Peach episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you liked our Gangster remake of it. Next week, next episode, if you're in the future, is going to be the 1977 Italian horror Suspiria. I'm excited to watch it. It's on YouTube. YouTube, please don't take it down in the next week. I need to watch that. But yeah, let's do some plugs and get out of here. Well, and by when I say get out of here, I mean play some video games with some viewers. We playing Valorant tonight, or do you want to play Knockout City?
I said before this we'd probably be playing Valorant, but
okay, I'm cool with that.
I mean, I'm up for whatever. I just think Valorant's a little more open.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, plugs, go for it.
Oh yeah, I live at. No, I'm just kidding. You can catch me live
daily at hanging out on the corner of blank and blank.
You could follow my car to and from. No,
my social security number is.
For real though, it's no. You can catch me live at twitch.tv/. Fuck.
You forgot your name, your channel.
I just stumbled and then just blew it. Anyway, you can catch me live at twitch.tv/bringtheshayne. Most of my socials are the same as that, except Twitter. It's the Shayne Train. I'm pretty great. We're pretty great. We do cool shit. Yeah. I started a new series. I'm playing hardcore Minecraft on Fridays. I'm doing that until I die in Minecraft, not real life, unless the ladder comes first.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
All right. You can find me at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/farmgoat. I almost just messed that up.
Oh, damn it. I almost had him.
Yeah, you did. I have been doing GTA RP a lot lately on my streams. I've been streaming like 6 to 8 hours, which is a lot for me.
Nice.
So if you want to go follow Jake Bloom, the eccentric, socially awkward filmmaker in Los Santos, filming the people trying to find the soul of Los Santos, come check that out. It's honestly, it's a blast. Everyone who comes out has been enjoying the streams. We've been meeting a lot of great people on the New Day RP server for GTA, and it's been so fun. So come check that out. Those are Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, 10 p.m. Eastern. Shayne and I also play video games on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern called Dummies Play, where we play co-op games. Yesterday we played Knockout City, which was so fun. That game is so fun. It's so good. Shayne and I also have another podcast called Survival Check. It is currently on hiatus due to me being incredibly busy. That is a podcast about the monsters of the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition monster manual. We're going from A to Z, Aarakocra to Zombie, covering each of them in an episode, talking about their history throughout D&D, talking about how we would use them in our own games, and then going over the stat block and kind of figuring out what they're good at, what they're not. It's a blast. You can find that on Spotify. You can also find Ruining Movies on Spotify. And yeah, that's about it. Follow my YouTube, Farm Goat Plays, and all that good stuff. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week as we cover Suspiria. Ooh, spooky. It's going to be June, the spooky month of the year. We're doing this early for some reason.
Because that's just the life we live,
That is. All right. Bye, everyone. Be excellent to each other.
Stay good out there.